be left out, this should go. Of late today, when we look at the media, we're seeing court battles, we're seeing sometimes programming or conduct of the media personalities in a way they do their work that leaves a lot to be desired. We've always talked about professionalizing, but I want us to first look at these two words: ethics, knowledge, and profession. Because many a times we talk about, let's have journalists have degrees. You know, we believe when a person goes through a school of journalism, therefore we think they are fit to go and they know what it takes. But we've seen people with qualifications even carrying out an ethical way of executing their duties and services.
Yeah, thank you very much. The media is living in trying moments because it has evolved over years. Previously, we were talking about media, which was electronic media and then print media. These were just television and then papers. But of course, with the era of technology, a lot of issues have evolved. You now have media extending its frontiers up to the phone. You have tabloids, which were not familiar to Uganda, that have come on board. So we are living in difficult times. There are specific words that the professions we are talking about, the gatekeeping processes, that you have an editor, you have an editorial team, but also these people that are in the profession were operating through specific ambits. That you go to the field, gather a story, then you subject it to the gatekeeping processes. You have an editor who's going to look at it, then you have a previewer, and by the time the story comes on TV or in the papers, it has been subjected to the professional ethics. Now, as we speak, of late, very many people have gotten on board, and this debate has been on in Uganda. Who should be a media practitioner? What should be his level of qualification? Now, if you're lucky and you have gone to school of journalism, there are specific do's and don'ts that will guide you professionally. Unfortunately, we have many players that have come on board who do not have the trained ethics, but they are players. Look at the people who are writing a lot of stuff on phones. Now there is a new writing for the web. So who's doing the gatekeeping processes? Like I'll give you the other 2 days ago, there was a story circulating and confirmed by a media house that a church had collapsed. And then it was trending. Then somebody was picking pictures of a different building that had collapsed and then insinuates that this is the building that has collapsed. So the challenges we are talking about is we are dealing in difficult times, that we have gotten many people who are participating in this profession. Now, the danger I'm seeing is media in itself is supposed to be a platform where different ideas are floated. Ideas that have been researched, have been verified, so that by the time you are putting the story across, it has all the balances. Because the person whom you are putting in play maybe has no room to be having to be heard in a fair way. So you talked of two words, ethics and knowledge. Now let's define ethics from a real,
because this is what is going to govern our conversation, basically.
Ethics are moral principles that govern a person's behavior or conducting of an activity, medical ethics. Okay, these are different concepts.
But we look at the professional
yes, but ethics. The word here, moral principles that govern a person's behavior. Then knowledge, facts, information and skills acquired through experience or education. Now, the choice of these words, facts. What are facts? How do you gather facts? Or if somebody has given you an opportunity that you are going to represent interests of different people, how do you behave when you are governing or managing those interests? Because for you to have credible information, there must be two people at play. Maybe you are investigating an issue and it is involving some personalities. These personalities must be protected professionally. And a professional journalist is not supposed to have feelings. And this is where the issue of, if you have interest in a matter, you must declare it and say, I am not going to be partial. So I excuse myself, I will not go and cover this specific assignment. But the challenge we've seen of late is people have lost that basic moral ground, that they will want to speak on everything as it has come. And this is injuring the people at play.
Innocent, let's look at one critical issue in the media fraternity today, where the press sees itself as we are supposed to inform, we are supposed to speak as long as we present facts. When I was in the media school, we had a course unit known as media ethics. And one thing I remember, my lecturer then told me that facts are limited. He told me, Chirabo, the fact that you're going in the field, the things you can see, one, if they jeopardize national security. Second, if they're ethically wrong in your ethical conduct as a journalist. Today the media will seem to be, as long as I spoke facts, as long as it was factual. If maybe we saw during the political times, maybe we no longer look at the impact of what we are going to report, no longer have the ethical consciousness of what you are telling out. This element of facts, as long as they are facts, they are facts. What is your take on it?
No, first of all, we must know that as a fourth estate, people keep on talking of fourth estate. We've seen countries, we've seen personalities being blown by just a mere pen and a statement. Now, because we hold a critically sensitive platform, we must be mindful. People have built their reputations over time. People have built states over time. So you would not misuse the opportunity you have been given to misrepresent facts. Yes, you may have facts, but are these facts good for releasing? They have always said that there is no story bigger than your life. But also,
and some repeat, a pen is mightier than a sword.
So, and that's what I talked about, the times, the difficult times we are in. Because when the media was still managed within the recognized tools, that you have a TV, you have a radio, you have paper, that was managed. Because someone will come and say, okay, give us the facts. How did these facts evolve? What is your piece of information? How did you research on this story? But now with the introduction of the phone, where you have everybody virtually being a news reporter, there is no filtering of this information. There is nobody to be held accountable. Like if a story is not right, whom are you going to hold accountable? For instance, if it is in your phone, you are seeing multiple forwards. But there is nobody who is the author of this forwarding. So we must get back to the drawing board as journalists. And that's why the element of cross-checking. Sometimes people are rushing to break a story. But how have you sieved through? What information are you sure that this is good for?
Consumption.
And if we don't do this, we are going to remain in a big dilemma. Because we are competing with speed. By the time the thing is circulating on the phones, you should have the right version to put the facts right. Because most of these facts are either not verified, are either verified by wrong sources, because also who is speaking. For instance, if it's a story concerning the military, or if it's a story concerning the police, and then because for you think you have spoken with a police officer who's not recognized or allowed by the codes of the police to speak, then also those facts are not right. If it's a story that is concerning UBC as a corporation, and you have a spokesperson of the corporation, but it is now the reporter like me who's speaking. So a journalist should not be excited that I have facts. Yes, you have leads, because there are facts and leads. You can have a lead that is aiding you to bring out your story in a better way. You have inner facts, yes, that give you a lead to your story, but have the rightful person authorized to speak to give you information.
You've talked about the media at a trying time. Previously, we had the traditional media, like you talked about. We had also more media state-owned. When we went into liberalizing of the media, you have over maybe 360 radio stations. You have over 100 plus TV stations. The media is meant also to set the agenda. But today, when I look at what is happening in the media, it seems the media has diverted to giving people what they want, not what they need. For example, look at some of the programmings on TV stations. You have what we call a gossip show. And here, it's all about attacking people, creating, it's all about what we have. We are moving to a direction where we think, what do the people like? Traditional media was aiming at shaping society, setting the agenda. Now we've also had the coming in of rankings on social media, where we are seeing even sometimes media personalities go to the extreme of even maybe undressing, having nudes to build their, their accounts. Let's talk about this issue of now digitalization, the internet, this impact in terms of the media, where it's ceasing to set the agenda, to shape a direction, and now it's going into giving people what they want or what will attract more in terms of, because if a person is to advertise, you look at maybe the social accounts, social media accounts, we look at how many people seem to be interested in that program, yet it may not be adding value to the society.
Yeah, of course, it all depends about the management setup and the interests of specific entities. But also, like you've said, indeed, what, because you manage the media fraternity in Uganda. You are in charge of TVs, papers, and then radio. And people are coming to you to listen to what you have for the day. The audience does not dictate what you are giving them. It is you who dictate, and they don't have any say. They can only say that, really, what have we gotten to them? Now, I was speaking to a minister one time, and he was saying media in Uganda is really interesting. When you put a serious development program, even the audience will switch off. But like in countries like Kenya and other countries, you put a serious developmental program, everybody is going to want to learn. Now, the challenge in Uganda, and this is across, because media is highly expensive, they think when they take one genre, which is politics and maybe entertainment, becoming two genres, they are going to make a lot of money. We have, for instance, forgotten about developmental journalism. We have forgotten about specific things. Now, like there are people who are about to retire, and all they are thinking about is, in my second years of retirement, maybe if I've clocked 50, I'm about to reach 60, what is it I should do that is going to keep me relevant, because I'm about to lose, to stop going for formal employment. And that's a very big category of people. We have the environment which is being completely depleted, but how much of that is being given space? We have a lot of issues to do with parenting, like there are issues to do with parenting challenges. There is a lot of divorces, people get into marriage, they are not even sure what they are going for. After 2-3 years, they have divorced their
teenage pregnancies.
So, but how much of this are we thinking through as a generation of journalists? Because for journalism to be effective, you must know the problems of society and then create a debate over them. But we are only looking at the issue of politics. Who is coming into the race? How much money are they having? who has performed poorly in their constituency, and we are wasting a lot or concentrating a lot onto that. But there are very many things. Look at, for instance, how Kampala is being developed as a city, and the neighboring areas that are picking, that are not picking lessons from how Kampala is confused, and then the confusion is extended to the neighboring areas. Now, all these are things that journalists must look at society, you mirror society, and then come up with serious topical issues that are going to help society.
Before I go to our viewers' messages, your questions to this program, I want us to look at also the legal aspect of journalism, regulating journalism in this country. Of course, one we look at in terms of programming the Uganda Communications Commission. When we look at these, where we seem to be heading in not a very good direction, what has this regulator really done? When recently I saw something that I'm yet to verify, where some of the programming that they feel may not be that really developmental, that now it should be aired maybe past time, when they believe children have gone maybe to sleep. So how relevant has the regulator been?
Now, like for developed countries really, because the challenge of Uganda's media is everything is on one channel. But in developed countries, because they are too sensitive about the generation that is coming up, like when you go to the UK, there are specific programs that children are not going to watch on TV. And they have segmented their TVs in a way that there is a TV for children, and they are only dealing with children-related content. But because of the challenges and the narrowness of the resources, you find that in Uganda, TV is watched by everyone. And the media practitioners are not sensitive about this. You have watched some of the footage where people are hugging, where people are kissing, and the children are watching. You are in the house, there is a sensitive show, and when a child is kissing, the actors in the TV are kissing, a child is looking at the father. Daddy, what are these people doing? Now, this is content in my TV. I have no management over what is coming through, but it's already an inconvenience with my family, and I have no room to say this. So, like you've said, UCC really has a big challenge, and I must commend them because they have tried. They have tried to say that, can you really limit in terms of the content? The other day I was in the parliamentary committee on ICC. I mean on information and communication. And a member of parliament raised a very serious issue. The former president of UJA. He was concerned about specific content that continues airing on TV. And he did mention that we need to come up with a law that is going to regulate some of the things. And that's what I said, that the times we are in are difficult. A lot of things are coming on board. A lot of creativity is coming on board. You have people who are doing a lot of comedy on TV, and these guys are a whole industry doing a lot of work. You have a lot of people who have come on board to support us to like promote the industry. But they must be regulated, because the profession of media has its own set of regulations. And if you're coming on board as a profession, you must be guided. Remember, we are serving interests of the audience. There are people, if you cannot just create a narrative on TV without reference. We are either going to talk about personalities, we are going to talk about individuals, we are going to talk about celebrities, but these have families. They also have feelings. They have names they have built over time. So if we are going to put them as issues of reference, we must remain factual, we must be balanced. What is balance in journalism? If you're talking about Innocent as a personality, and you think Innocent has done bad in the position he is, it's a requirement on your side professionally that I must be given an opportunity to defend myself, because the story must be two sides. You must have issues, I must defend myself, so that you give the viewer a balanced side of the story. But if a story is just going to be one side, because you are rushing to break it, then you are infringing on the rights of these other people. So the element of balance is very critical, and where we are heading, we really must start thinking aloud in terms of how do we maintain our professionalism without necessarily infringing on the rights of the people who are viewing us.
Well, viewers, it is time you can send in your messages. That is on our various social media platforms. You on Twitter, on that is also, you can send us a message on our WhatsApp number, or you can go traditional and send an SMS that is on our WhatsApp number, which is 0709 60 25 92. Please keep the messages coming in, and we'll be responding to some of these issues as we discuss professionalism in the journalism profession. Yes, it does a great work. Information is power, information is knowledge, but how do we ensure that first and foremost we give people a balanced menu? We inform them, we set the agenda, we build our nation. It's not only about saying these news, but nation building is also a priority. So please send in those messages. Innocent will be responding to some of them as they come in, and that is the number on your screen. You can either use an SMS or send in, that is our WhatsApp text, and I will be reading all of them as they come in. Very interesting discussion here this morning, where we see that the fourth estate, where most of the times is cherished in just talking about the pen is mightier than the sword, and we forget that yes, whatever we do, whatever we broadcast has an impact. For me, I'm so much concerned, Innocent, when it comes to the traditional media, because with the social media, yes, like you've said, anyone can be a journalist. Anyone can take a photo, anyone can report, and people tend to think it is that simple because anyone can do it. But when it comes to traditional media, there's a whole chain of what is put or what is aired there. So if professional traditional media errors, then that would bring me to wonder, what are we not doing right? What is happening with the people that we believe, first and foremost, are sensitive to families you talked about, are sensitive to the security of a country? It hurts so much when we hear how media in a number of countries has done more harm in terms of promoting unity, development, and peace, but has worked on the contrary. So some of the things we want to find solutions to, as also you keep in those messages coming in. Fun, in the interest of time, as we'll get to reply to some of these messages, what could be the way forward? Because day by day, I don't know if you've really been very critical at observing this, that maybe when you sit home and you're moving through a number of channels, either it is news, you find some story and you're like, oh God, who did this? Maybe there are some programs you're moving through, like, is this also a program? Or am I just watching a YouTube channel? But it's on a formal TV, or it's on a formal radio station.
I think I would really implore our colleagues, the journalists and those who are willing to participate in this, that they must interest themselves to look at the code of ethics of journalism. Because if you're dealing with information, this must be information which is collaborated. And information which is collaborated talks about facts. How are facts gathered? You must do research, and you must know the subject you're going to talk about. And because there is this concept of saying the access to public information. So if you're going to speak about something which you think it's good for media consumption, because there is information that is not good for media consumption, and if information is good for media consumption, so it must be subjected to all the ethos that requires of it. You must even disclose your source at some point. You must even know that the information which you are putting out is truthful and factual. And how are you going to make this information to go through all these processes is to really subject it to what is required. And the story which is not balanced should not be put on air, for God's sake. Otherwise, we are going to be in legal battles. Because someone will say, who told you this? Now, once somebody asks you who told you this, then that means you have not answered the 5 W's and H. Who said what, when, where, how, and why.
Let me look at some of the messages coming in. Good morning. I think sensitive programs need to be aired a little late in the night, say at 11 p.m. onwards. Journalists and presenters need to also be ethical in dress code, language, and others while presenting. Thank you, Martin in Mbale. Then we have GMU Alonius from March, India. There are programs which should not be aired on TVs. Iggy, he mentioned some shows have never learnt and benefited from them. It is just rubbish. Okay. Then we have also another message coming in. Says GMU, someone is thanking you. There are programs which, okay. Good morning, UBC. Allow me thank you, the two gentlemen in the studios, for the educative discussion you have. I wish private practitioners were listening. Then journalism would be transforming Uganda as a nation. I'm Joel from Mukono. Thank you so much, Joel from Mukono. And then another one, I am loving the show. My point is that most media practitioners want to be celebrities and just air out anything without facts. Thank you, Nsambu Leo from Munyonyo. Thank you, Nsambu, for watching. And morning, people. Banange omuntu this is some look. Omuntu azimbide erinya for a long time. Naye in few minutes omuntu alionona because mbu naye alina obuwagizi nyini kampani ezo zibere zivunanibwe. Okay, well, a lot of messages are coming on, but I want to thank you so much for being part of this show and of course appreciating the program. Let me conclude with this one. Basically, he says journalists should know their limits. They should stop crossing lines. I am JJ from Ginger. Innocent, let me have your final remarks regarding also some of the messages.
Thank you very much, Robert, and also the viewers for those compliments. My appeal really to anyone who's going to think the information is giving the public must be given. You must be honest, fair, and independent, but also respect rights of others. Because the biggest challenge we are committing in the process of writing is to imagine that us journalists have rights, but the other people have no rights. Because if you respect rights of others, then you'll be mindful and conscious in terms of what you're going to do. But the baseline basically is ensure that the information you are given is well researched, it is well balanced, and it is putting in place the required processes before it is disseminated. Thank you very much, Robert.
Well, I want to thank you so much, Innocent Musinguzi, our gatekeeper. And of course, all has been said. Remember, for people in this fraternity, get time, read the media code of ethics. Once in a while, let this be your Bible. It will save you a lot and avoid the excitement. But also, there is no story worth your life, and any information that jeopardizes national security, you should think twice about that. Have a lovely day. God bless you. The Sportsman is ready here to give you all those interesting stories and catchy stories within the sports fraternity. See you tomorrow. Don't forget, if you haven't gotten a jab, please go and get vaccinated. We need to have the economy thrive again, and we can only do this when we are vaccinated, and we are sure we won't have death, severe illness, and hospitalization in our country. See you tomorrow.
Brought to you by GoTV Valley. For just 25,000 shillings, enjoy the world's biggest leagues and cap competitions. GoTV Uganda, love it. Getting GoTV was the best decision James has ever made. Finding a good place to watch football was never easy, but it was costly. Until James discovered something big. Now you can finally enjoy the benefits of homegrown advantage with a decoder and 1 month of GoTV Valley. For just 25,000 shillings, enjoy the world's biggest leagues and cap competitions. GoTV Uganda, love it.